for really anyone that's worked their entire life to make it in this sport and to do it in front of a sellout crowd, let alone be part of a finish like that, let alone win the race. Just awesome to do and be a part of an experience. And it's not the last time I want to do that. I can tell you that.
What's going on, guys? This is Brian Jones from PopCulture.com, and joining me today is the winner of the 2022 Daytona 500, NASCAR driver Austin Cindric. Austin, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
Absolutely. I can't complain, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, first off, congratulations on winning the Daytona 500. But I want to ask you this first. How much sleep are you getting these last couple of days?
I have not gotten much sleep. I got more sleep last night than I did Sunday night. As it should be, right? But yeah, certainly amazing experience. I can definitely sleep later.
Oh, absolutely. And I saw a picture of you in bed with a trophy. I see the trophy there now. How big is that trophy? Is it heavy at all?
It's pretty heavy. I mean, I don't know if I'd say 30 or 40 pounds, but any trophy is cool. But this one takes the cake for sure.
Oh, of course. And when it comes to the last couple of days, how has your life been? How busy has it been? How much media have you been doing? How has it been the last 48 hours?
Yeah, obviously really busy. I mean, it's the biggest race really on our schedule and one of the biggest races in the world. So it's the one everybody wants to win, and obviously a lot of excitement around it. So for me, it's been really busy. I probably haven't stopped talking since, just as far as whether if it's questions or TV time or media or whatever else it may be. All of it's great. I can easily talk about racing. I can easily talk about winning. So just an awesome experience. It's still going to keep going, but for me, it's a lot of fun to go out there and do it. That's my favorite part is going out there and being in the race and being in the moment. And definitely fun to reflect on it.
Of course. And you drive for Team Penske, and you won the Daytona 500 on Roger Penske's 85th birthday. What did Roger say to you after the Daytona 500?
No, obviously, really cool to be able to do that on Roger's birthday. I can't think of a better birthday present. It's not his first Daytona 500, so it was a bit of a re-gift, but I think I'll take it. But definitely an awesome experience to share with him, and just to give him a hug in victory lane. He's somebody that's meant so much to me throughout my career and throughout my life. So to be able to deliver that to him and his family and this race team is pretty significant for me and pretty special.
Of course. And while the Daytona 500 was going on, there were a number of lead changes. I know there were at least 13. So what was your mindset going into those final laps?
Yeah, I mean, I thought, once we had our final pit stop, I thought we had a shot to win the race. We gave ourselves track position, and at that point, my job's not to lose it, whether if that's, doing the right thing with the fuel saving, getting the right information from Jeremy, or getting the right information from Doug as far as, when to block the runs and when things are coming. And obviously being able to work with Ryan on those last couple of restarts was really critical for us to both have a shot coming off a turn 4 to win the race. So just a total team effort. Really proud to be a part of it. Really proud to say that I did my job there and gave ourselves a great shot to win the race. So sometimes that's all you can ask for, but total team execution.
And going into the Daytona 500, how confident were you when it comes to being successful and not necessarily winning, but finishing in the top 10, top 5? How confident were you going into the race?
Yeah, I figured we would have a shot. I felt like after we did the duels on Thursday night, I felt like we had a car capable of really being a contender. And that was a big question mark leading into the event. We have the next gen car. We have a lot of newness approaching the season with how the car is going to draft, how the car is going to run, what things are going to be like with pit stops, fuel consumption. Everything was an unknown coming into the race, and just the adaptability, the open-mindedness by the team and everybody throughout the entire event. And I felt like I wanted the right things out of the car and got some success in the duels because of it, and being able to put ourselves in position. I think everybody at Team Penske did an awesome job of doing that with all 3 of our cars, and obviously we were able to execute at the end, which is when it counts. But I wouldn't say I thought I was going to go out there and just win the race. These races are way too hard to win, especially speedway races, and sometimes you have to get a little lucky, and sometimes you have to be able to execute. And I feel like the latter definitely paid off for us.
Of course. And last year. This isn't the first time you raced in the Daytona 500. You competed in the 2021 edition and you finished 15th. And that was actually your first Cup Series race. So what was the biggest thing you learned after competing in the 2021 Daytona 500?
Well, in some ways, it was a bit of a confidence boost. You know, we ran up front almost the majority of the race, and in my first Daytona 500 last year. So I think that gave me at least a great perspective on what the competition level is and what different drivers do, but also the strength, like I said already, strength in the team, strength in our cars, and a lot's changed since last year as far as my experience, but also my position. You know, last year I had to race my way into the show. I wasn't guaranteed a spot because I wasn't running full time for points. So it was a really stressful week leading up to it. I think this week, leading up to the Daytona 500 this Sunday in 2022, I was able to really kind of enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the event. Just being part of that entire experience is a pretty cool moment for really anyone that's worked their entire life to make it in this sport and to do it in front of a sellout crowd, let alone be part of a finish like that, let alone win the race. Just awesome to do and be a part of an experience. And it's not the last time I want to do that. I can tell you that.
Absolutely. And obviously the Daytona 500 kicks off the NASCAR Cup Series season. So how does a win like Sunday change the outlook for the next races, if at all?
Well, I think it changes a few things. One, it puts us in the playoffs, which really sets us off on a really nice note, probably on the best note possible, to be able to establish a lot of things within the race team. For me, it's about communication, it's about learning process, learning a new car. There's going to be a lot of highs and lows. For me in a rookie season, I know that. I've watched plenty of guys come up from the Xfinity Series into the Cup Series and definitely go through some struggles, and it certainly gives me the freedom to be aggressive when I need to, throughout the regular season, but also be patient when I need to really hone in on the small details and refine what it takes to be a contender every weekend.
And speaking of the Xfinity Series, you won the Xfinity Series Cup in 2020, was in the top 4 last year. So what's the biggest thing you have to do in order to give yourself a chance to not only compete in the playoffs, the Cup Series playoffs, but possibly win the Cup Series championship?
Yeah, well, I think last year you saw, there was only one car that made it in on points. So, leading up to last weekend, I thought anyone that wanted to be in the playoffs this year has to win a race. Yeah. And for us to already have done that, obviously secures us that spot. But I think that having a shot is awesome, but you need more playoff points. So if we're able to win stages throughout the year, if we're able to be aggressive and try and win races, whether if that's with our strategy or just with the setup of the race car, I think we have that freedom to go chase playoff points, because once you get to the playoffs, that is so much easier when you do have those playoff points. That playoff format is in all 3 national series. So I've done it in the Truck Series with no playoff points. I've done the Xfinity Series with no playoff points. I've done it in the Xfinity Series with a lot of playoff points. So anytime you can gain those throughout the year by winning those stage breaks or being able to win races, we've got 5 to start the year, and I want us to have more by the time the playoffs come around, because they're going to be critically important to making it through each 3-race round.
Right. And the last question before I let you go is, now that you won the Daytona 500, and this is being your first year full time in the Cup Series, what are some of the other goals you have as you go through this Cup Series season?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I haven't made, even before this past weekend, I haven't really made any concrete goals for the season, past, whether if it's team communication, things I want to learn, identifying strengths and weaknesses. I still think all those things are in play for me, but, I just want to be a contender as often as possible and find out what that takes and really measure myself against, some of the best drivers, in stock cars in the world. So for me, that's still, I think, the mindset. I still think it has to be, but certainly sets it off on a good note when you can say that you've won the first race of the year, won the Daytona 500, and we're even leading the points. It's pretty crazy to think.
Awesome, man. And that's great to hear. Again, thank you so much for your time, Austin. I really do appreciate it. Again, congratulations on winning the Daytona 500, and good luck to you the rest of this season.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course. And guys, thanks again for joining us. And for more on Austin and all your favorite sports stars, be sure to keep it locked right here on popculture.com.